Hey everyone, this is Manny with ESTNN. I'm joined by Froggen, mid laner for Golden Guardians. Froggen, how do you feel? How are you?
Um, I feel pretty good. I feel like this is one of the wins we needed to get because it's against a bottom tier team. So I don't know. It feels good that we can just go out and just take the win pretty comfortably.
Yeah, of course. And you're obviously well known now in the LCS, formerly NALCS. How does it feel to like finally be coming back and not just coming back, and kind of like staying afloat, but being in a team that's actually now challenging some of like the top teams?
Um, I mean, it feels good to win for sure. I also feel like even though spring started out pretty badly, um, and then going into summer now it's going well and all that kind of stuff. I do feel like we still have a lot to work on. We have a lot of, I don't know, just weaknesses, things that we need to get better at in order to really compete with the top teams.
Right.
And I think it's important for us to remember this and that we it's not just like a short sprint for the first couple of weeks and
Right.
then we get comfortable and then we're gonna start losing or something. We need to keep working really hard. I think everyone on the team has put in a lot of work,
Right.
and I feel like everyone needs to keep putting in work in order to make this work. Um, and obviously, the goal is to do really well in playoffs, not just the regular season. So um, playoffs is like a new game, and no, it's very early to start thinking about that. But we have to keep working really hard.
Right, of course. And I mean, you did, get to playoffs last split, and a close series overall. Do you feel that even though, like you're saying, the team still has to improve and such, do you feel like you're in a better position than last year? Like, do you feel like you could actually go much further this time around?
Yeah, so I think the big difference between this split and last split is the fact that we started 0-4. So it's really every single win, we must get it no matter what. And we don't really have a lot of room to like just not necessarily slow down, but just to practice um, other stuff than what we normally play. Whereas now we're like 4-1, and I mean it does give a bit more room to practice or experiment a bit with what else can and cannot work for us.
Right.
So I think that's gonna feel pretty good for us.
Oh, yeah, awesome. And you know, going into more of like your champion picks, everyone knows, some might call it cheesy, some might just call it like they're frogging picks, right? We don't really see Anivias, we don't really see. I mean, we're starting to see Luxes. Like, do you feel like that benefits just like benefits the team because it's like it brings a new play style? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what you bring to the table?
Um, I don't really mind so much if other players are picking it or not. I feel like if they don't try to pick it or if they don't try to play it, then they just won't know that much about the champion, and it's gonna give me a bigger advantage if I want to pick it in the right scenario. Um, I feel like for my team, as long as they feel good about me doing whatever I want to really do, and they can trust me and I can perform on it, then I feel like it's not really an issue. And I do think it's it should be a strength to be able to play so many different champions.
Right, of course. Going off of that, I interviewing a lot of players, or even like just seeing players. They usually say for solo queue warriors out there, like, oh, best thing is to just main one champion. Do you have like any specific tips for people out there that want to be like, oh, wait, Froggen's picking Anivia, maybe I should just pick Anivia no matter what? Like, what are your some tips for people out there?
I mean, if you specifically want to climb and be able to play on a pro team, then you do need to be able to adapt to whatever the meta is. Because, I mean, you kind of need to be able to play the meta champion, so you're going to put your team at a disadvantage. And if you're like a new and upcoming player, it's going to be really difficult um, to get into a team if you're not able to do that. I do think just for climbing, I mean, I really think you can kind of play whatever champion you want. I'm not sure if it really matters too much. Like, I'm an Anivia main, so mostly I was playing Anivia, but it was a different system back in the day. So
Right.
I would depending on what order I was in champion select, I would get different roles. I would need to play other roles. So I was like Anivia one trick in mid for the most part, and then playing other champions, and mostly top and AD. So being able to be versatile or one tricking, I'm not really sure. I know in NA there's a lot of one tricks and they seem to be able to climb
Right.
depending on if the champion is strong in the meta or not. Um, but yeah, if you want to like be pro and stuff, then you would need to be able to adapt.
Right, and that makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. So you obviously were talking about earlier, like how you felt that the team still needs, to improve. Obviously, you did take down Cloud9. Do you feel like other teams out there, like you'd be able to take down as well? Like, do you think there's still a clear top three cutoff, like we saw last split?
I think it's kind of hard to say right now, just because of how the standings are. I do think if you look like historically and at playoffs, it is like TL, TSM, and Cloud9, where they're like the ones that we want to beat, and that's the ones we had trouble beating last split. I think we lost both games to C9 and TL, and then we went 1-1 against TSM. So that's like 1 win out of 6 games, and if we want to make it like do better in playoffs, we must be able to do better than that. Because I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed those 3 teams are like always in playoffs. So that's why it's like important to, I don't know, kind of keep our head down and keep working hard, and then eventually like maybe like we'll improve enough to the point where we can like really compete.
Right, and obviously, originally from Europe, now in NA, kind of like bred in NA, some would say. How do you feel like seeing both of those regions, be at kind of like the top currently, right, in international play, MSI? Like, do you think that was kind of like a one and off, or do you think that it's actually like the West has caught up? The West is no longer just a ship.
I mean, I think for Europe, they make it with Fnatic at Worlds, and now due to winning MSI, they have a bit more consistency historically at international tournaments. So I don't really think it's a one-time thing for them. They do seem to be more consistent about those performances. For NA, like if we're gonna lose for the next 10 years, then it's a one-time thing, But
Yeah,
if we're gonna do well at Worlds and at the next couple of international tournaments, then like you can't really call it a one-time anymore. So it kind of depends on how the future is gonna shape out.
Right, awesome. Do you have any last words for fans out there of Froggen and Golden Guardians?
Yeah, I mean, thank you guys for watching this interview, and thank you for all the support you have given me and the team. I appreciate it.